Hello, Ethan.
Hello.
I don't think horror is a genre that you've visited a lot as an actor. What attracted you to The Purge?
You know, I've been acting since I was 13 years old, so I like to try to put myself in different situations. You know, and I read this script, and the idea was so original. It reminded me a little bit of a John Carpenter film that I loved when I was younger, Escape from New York. You know, just kind of a radical, weird idea that at first seems absolutely ridiculous and gets more and more fun the more you think about it. And the guy who wrote and directed the movie's a really interesting person. And I had just done Sinister with Jason Blum, and I'd had a really good time. And so I got kind of interested in the idea of doing another film with him.
Now, in The Purge, you played James Sandon. Can you please tell us about your character?
Well, he's kind of, in a lot of ways, your prototypical American. You know, he thinks of himself as Tom Brady. He thinks of himself as Mr. Can-Do, Mr. Perfect, and isn't really aware of all the ways in which he's a part of a much larger problem. And it's really his children that make him address his own morality.
Now, the scene I got the most chills were when you were trying to tie up the homeless man and so you could throw him out again. I want to know what you were thinking, you know, what was going through your head when you were doing that.
That's a devastating scene, really, because it's an incredibly complex moral dilemma, which is to do the wrong thing for the right reason. You know, here's a person who's willing to kill a man to save his children. He's killing an innocent person to save his children. And it's, you know, my kids love to play that game. Would you rather, you know, eat ice cream for the rest of your life or never have ice cream again? Or they always, you know, would you rather run over a turtle or run over a frog? You know, they always like, and it's a funny conundrum to be placed a decision, would you rather kill an innocent person or have your family be murdered?
Very interesting.
Terrible decision to have to make and a very wild scene to have to act out, you know? And the actors I was with, Edwin and Lena, everybody was really good. And you know, of course, there's an element of race at play, too, that, that makes it very interesting. You know, it's difficult to play all those scenes and not think of, you know, to see Edwin running through a gated community and not think of Trayvon Martin or think of all the different socio-political undertones to this movie.
Yeah, no, I thought the film had a lot of hidden messages. One obviously was about American gun laws and do they need to be stricter or, you know, or one could go either way really, or you could think, well, no, actually we need more gun laws because there's so many crazy people out there. So how is it acting that out? Like, it's a very thin line to walk.
You know, I always think a good genre movie is ultimately really fun. Like, that's its primary job. It's not trying to change the world. It's trying to give you something fun to do on Friday night and then to leave you with something to talk about. I think that ultimately the film has a very kind of clear message about what what the subconscious of this film is saying. But it's not didactic about it. You know, you can take from it whatever you want.
And what's next for Ethan Hawke?
Well, what's next for me? Let's see. I have another movie, Before Midnight, coming out right now. That's kind of the polar opposite of this movie. You know, guys and girls kissing and talking and fighting, that kind of thing. And let's see. I don't know what I think I'm going to be doing a play on Broadway in the fall.
Hello, Jason.
Hello.
How did The Purge get made? James DiMonaco just brought you the script and you were on board immediately, or?
He actually pitched the idea to me, and I thought the concept was great, this idea of what if 12 hours a year, all crime were legal, and what if you did a movie where that had been going on for quite some time? I thought that was a cool idea, and so that's what first got me hooked, and I said, you gotta write that, and he wrote it, and we read it, and we made it not very long after that, so it came together pretty quickly.
Now, I thought the film had a lot of hidden messages. One, obviously, was American crime levels and gun violence, and, you know, and did you think any of the scenes were gratuitous? Because one could go either way. I mean, one viewer could say, well, lax gun laws are creating the situation we need tighter gun laws, or the other could say, well, I need more guns to protect myself because there's so many crazy people out there.
Right. Well, I think that's the point of the, I mean, I'm glad to hear you say that, because that's what the reaction you're hoping for, is to kind of, it's really to get people talking about it. I think it's not impossible, but pretty close to impossible to make a movie about violence that is not violent. So we did make a really violent movie, but it is also about violence. And I think and we've screened it, and definitely makes people think and makes people talk. I don't think it takes a particular political position, except to make people talk more about this issue, which obviously, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, you're against violence. And so hopefully we'll succeed and more people will talk about it after the movie comes out.
Yeah, I was very freaked out. And it is a very thin line to walk. Like,
Yeah.
'cause you could go either way.
It is a thin line, I know.
Now you have a proven track record for making movies very cheaply and then making huge box offices on them. What are your expectations for the film, domestically and
Oh,
internationally?
I have no idea. I mean, I hope it does well. What do you think? Did you like it?
I did. It really freaked me out, I'm telling you.
Good.
And I like horror films.
I try not to expect. The good thing about making movies for a little bit amount of money is that we need to make very little to break even, and the only thing that's important to me is that the people who put up the money get their money back. After that, who knows? That's up to the movie gods.
Now, you also collaborated with Michael Bay on this film, who has a track record of making movies very expensively.
Yes.
What was it like collaborating with him?
Well, that's why one of the reasons I wanted him to produce the movie. We developed the script, and then I invited them to produce with us, and they were really, Brad and Drew, who work at Platinum Dunes, were super active creatively through the whole process of the movie, I know. And I thought it was really fun to have Michael Bay, who makes the most expensive movies in Hollywood, produce a movie which is one of the least expensive movies in Hollywood. So I'm glad you picked up on that. That was a goal of mine in inviting them in.
Yeah, I'm sure you learned a lot from each other.
Yes, we did. Actually, I did. Again, a lot of the crew came from Michael's people. We're from Michael's movies.
Now, you seem to enjoy the horror genre a lot. Is this your favorite genre? If not, what is? And do you have any other avenues you'd like to explore?
It is. I think it's become my favorite genre. It's definitely my favorite genre movie. But I see all different kinds of movies. I like all different kinds of movies. Blumhouse doesn't make, but I'm attached as producer to different types of movies. I'm doing The Normal Heart, for instance, for HBO right now. But my passion lies with horror.